WCBI News at 6 starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. A Lee County grand jury will decide if charges will be filed in a deadly Monday shooting.
Terrence Dion Shumpert died after he was shot during an argument at the A1 tire store in SKYLINE. Sheriff Jim Johnson says Clyde Wallace suffered injuries after he and Shumpert opened fire on each other. Wallace underwent surgery at the hospital. A third person on scene was taken into custody as a person of interest, but so far no charges have been filed.
A man wanted in connection to a Macon apartment robbery is now in jail. Antonio Roby, also known as Shaky, is now charged with armed robbery, aggravated assault, and conspiracy. Roby turned himself in to police earlier this afternoon. The robbery happened February 3rd at Cambridge Manor Apartments. Investigators believe Roby and two other suspects committed the crime. One person has already been arrested in the case.
An endangered missing person child alert has been issued for a Tishomingo County teenager. 15-year-old Monica O'Brien was last seen in the 100 block of Old Highway 25. O'Brien is 5'2" and weighs around 200 pounds. She has dirty blonde hair and blue eyes. Family members say she suffers from a medical condition that might impair her judgment. If anyone has any information on her whereabouts, you're asked to contact the Belmont Police Department.
A federal judge signs off on a settlement ending a lawsuit between a former Calhoun City police officer and the town's former chief. Greg Sockwell was fired in 2017, months after answering a domestic disturbance call at the home of former Chief Tito Lopez. Sockwell claimed that Lopez targeted him after Sockwell admitted he had discussed answering that disturbance call with other officers. The terms of the agreement are confidential.
Some area seniors showed that emergency preparedness has no age. The Arrington Nursing Home teamed up with Columbus emergency responders to practice what to do if an active shooter were to come onto the campus. The police and fire departments, along with EMS, were tested on their response time on arriving to the scene and disarming the gunman. Employees were instructed to coordinate with the public information officer for medical documents and necessities for the families. Columbus Police Chief Fred Shelton says this drill can help save both the lives of residents and employees.
The goal is to see how well we get in there and how well we work together, how well we get in there and clear the building. Because again, EMS can't go onto the scene until the scene is secure. So we want to practice our capabilities of getting in there real quick, and getting in there and getting the scene contained so the people that need help can get help.
Chief Shelton says they try to run these drills as often as possible.
Oktibbeha County supervisors take the next step in making repairs to a damaged dam at the Oktibbeha County Lake.
The board has approved up to $250,000 for the county engineer to do an assessment to come up with a repair plan. Our Stephanie Poole joins us live in the studio with more information. Stephanie?
That's right. County supervisors are still deciding what's best for the future of the lake. But there's one thing for certain. It'll come with a hefty price tag. Repairing the dam at the Oktibbeha County Lake has moved to the top of their priority list for county supervisors. How to pay for it. In a 3-2 vote, the board agreed to pay for half of the repairs on the levee and dam.
If it costs $10 million to do it, and we get $5 million in federal or state funds, the county has already voted in a 3-2 vote to put up the other $5 million.
Supervisor Brickley Miller says the board now has to consider all its options to cover the cost.
And that's going to mean either doing a loan, high interest loan, and taking that funding from somewhere, or doing a bond, which will raise your taxes.
However, Supervisor Marvell Howard says there's one way to complete the project without taxpayers being affected.
I think I laid out a pretty solid plan last night of how we can proceed forward and how we can get this funding in place and how we can take care of our debt without a tax increase. So you know, there are some things that we have to look into the budget, do some rearranging, but the money is there.
Citizens obviously would have another voice to let us know if they want their taxes raised, you know, $3 to $5 million, you know, or even more. We don't know exactly what it's going to cost yet.
County leaders say regardless of the price, their main concern is the safety of the public. As of now, supervisors must wait for the county engineer to complete reconstruction plans.
We're going out and gathering this information, developing the plans. Then we'll have a clear path forward of exactly what it is we want to do. But at this time, until our engineer finishes what he has to do, we don't have real answers right now.
We'll continue to provide updated information on the lake as it progresses.
Pretty nice out there today. Our time lapse from downtown Columbus shows the friendly clouds we had out there in many spots today. You have to enjoy the sun when we get it. And today we actually saw a little bit of sunshine. Tomorrow, more clouds, more rain. The temperatures right now falling back down into the 50s in many spots here. Starkville, however, still at 61. So this evening, variably cloudy here. No major problems. Eventually by 11 o'clock, upper 40s. Areas of rain, mid 40s in the morning. Yuck. We have more nasty weather coming our way for our Wednesday. And you can see the showers building in during the course of the night. So have a plan for some wet weather for the morning commute. And during the day, we'll have some showers around. Breezy and cool, highs in the 40s. I'm back with your full forecast coming up.
A congressional candidate makes a swing through the area today to introduce himself and his platform to voters. Republican candidate James Tulp is running for the 3rd Congressional District seat. The Madison native wants to focus on improving infrastructure, prioritizing vocational education, and controlling illegal immigration to protect American jobs.
I'm running to be accountable to the citizens. I'm not accountable to the elites. I'm not accountable to the donors and the lobbyists. I'm running for every citizen, and that's who's going to be my boss. That's who will decide to hire me. That's who will decide to fire me if they think that I'm not doing a good job. But that's why I'm running to put citizens over elites, to put America first, and to make sure that, again, Mississippi is leading the fight for life, for borders, and for Second Amendment.
Tulp is running against incumbent Michael Guest on the Republican Party ticket. Party primaries are set for March 10th.
An old building in Starkville is getting new life thanks to some local entrepreneurs. Glow is a company that started by 2 Mississippi State students in 2015, and it will soon be calling the old Rex Theater home.
That's right. Our Bobby Martinez was in Starkville this morning for the big announcement. So, Bobby, what more can you tell us?
Guys, it all started as a class project for Hagen Walker and Anna Barker in 2015. Fast forward to today, that project has turned into a company that continues to expand. So moving into the old Rex Theater allows them to have more workspace and keep the company in the city where it all began.
During Christmas, we had people sitting on the floor to pack boxes because we just didn't have any room.
But that will soon change. Glow, a company that sells light-up drink cubes, will have a new place to call home. The old Rex Theater. Mark Castleberry, the developer for this project, says this location is the perfect fit for Glow for so many reasons.
They could utilize the space. They could also use the size. Approximately 7,000 feet is what they'll be occupying. They had a strong desire to be downtown.
The building itself is owned by Abert Masonic Lodge 89. The lodge, built in 1931, has since rented out space to numerous businesses, including the Rex Theater. So this opportunity for the owners of Glow is something that means a lot to them.
It's not every day that, a young company like us gets the opportunity to move into a building like this. I think it's a little surreal.
The picture that it presents is so amazing, right? Because the redevelopment of Rex Theater is a great way to honor the history of Starkville, but also us getting to go in there as a young startup that started out the university. It's also kind of looking forward towards all of the economic development that Starkville's worked really hard for.
Castleberry says its $1.2 million project is scheduled to be completed by the end of this year. Guys, back to you.
2 North Mississippi plants are a part of the merger of 2 of the country's largest foam and mattress materials manufacturers. Final okay was given Tuesday for FXI, which has a plant in Baldwin to complete the $850 million merger with Inacor. Inacor owns a Tupelo production facility, but not for long. The Federal Trade Commission ordered Inacor to sell its Tupelo site to a company called Future Foam. The FTC says having Baldwin and Tupelo plants under the same ownership provided too much market share to FXI in a region that depends heavily on foam and foam-related products.
A disaster response team from North Mississippi is wading in to help residents in the Jackson area clean up and rebuild.
We'll check in with them live when we come back.
Welcome back. A group from North Mississippi is in Jackson repairing damage caused by massive flooding.
WCBI's Allie Martin is following the rapid response team with 8 days of hope as they reach out to victims. He joins us live tonight from Raymond.
Yes, thank you. We're here at the 8 Days of Hope staging area in Raymond, Mississippi. Now, today, about 50 or 60 volunteers from all over the country have been out in the Jackson area. They've been helping folks, flood victims from last week's record floods here in Jackson. One of those is Gail Manning. He is a part-time investigator with Union County Sheriff's Department, retired U.S. Marshal, and he's been with 8 Days of Hope on some trips. Thank you so much for being with us. I know y'all were busy today. Tell us, what did you do today?
Well, we went out to Mr. Westbrook's house. He had 2 properties out there that we went and mucked out for him, which consists of taking the drywall out, flooring out, and whatever's wet that we try to get out of the house so it can start drying.
That's right, and that's important. That's what the rapid response does. That's a key because they come in, they get everything ready without maybe the possibility of mold growing. You want to keep the mold from growing anymore, don't you? And that's what y'all do.
That's correct. We try to get everything that's wet outside the house and come back in with the fans, dehumidifiers, and then we'll come back with shockwave and spray it and try to kill what mold is growing and make sure that the mold doesn't keep growing.
What do you like about doing this?
I love it because it's serving the Lord. The Lord's been good to me. He's blessed me so many times in my life, so I want to give back to him and be his hands and feet like we are commanded to do.
That's right. And you're about to have dinner in here. You have really, really good food. Somebody said it's 8 pounds of hope is like one of the things that this is called also. So you have some really good food and good fellowship. It's a fun time, isn't it?
That's correct. We do, some of us do call it 8 pounds of hope. And usually when I get back from a detail like this, my wife can tell that I've been eating really well.
That's a good thing, though. All right, thank you so much. All right, we are going to be here. We're going to be out with teams tomorrow, and we'll have some stories from the volunteers and also from the homeowners. For now, we're in Raymond, Mississippi. We'll send it back to you in the studio.
All right, great thing about that, they had nice weather to start that cleanup process.
I know that's right. So, Keith, what type of weather do we have in store for us?
Well, we have more rain coming.
Well, of course we do.
Go figure. This evening, though, we actually have a pretty nice one. So Columbus, Tupelo, Vernon, Durham's Pharmacy, Louisville, Mississippi. Notice how nice it is out there this evening. Some 50s developing, but we do have some rain coming our way. Your full forecast is next.
Your WCBI First Alert AccuWeather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson.
No rain on live radar. That's a change. It's been very wet around here. How wet, you ask? Well, look at this. The wettest Februaries on record in Tupelo. The top 5, 3 of the top 5 years. In the last 3 years, we are now at 10.65 inches in Tupelo so far this year. But last year, 15 inches. The year before that, almost 13. So it has been wet. But today, no rain. We love to see some of these great cloud pictures, too. And we were right at the back edge of the clouds today in parts of the area. Look at that sharp edge right here in parts of North Mississippi as those clouds that we had yesterday were moving away. And also some gravity wave clouds here, a sign of a very stable atmosphere. It looks like little rows in the sky, maybe a washboard effect right there. But stay connected with us here. Download the WCBI News app. You can get the latest forecast, your weather alerts, live coverage, and of course you can share your pictures and videos with us. All right, let's talk about tomorrow. We have an ugly day coming our way. Mid-40s to start out. We are looking at highs mainly in the 40s. Windy conditions, winds from the northwest about 10 to 20. Rain showers will gradually dissipate by the evening, but there will be some rain around here from the morning into the afternoon hours. You can see how chilly it's going to be today. We were in the low to mid 60s. Tomorrow, probably mid to upper 40s, best case scenario here. There's a swirl out there across the high plains that's coming our way, and that is why we have more rain in the forecast. So when you wake up and get ready for the commute, plan accordingly. Umbrellas, jackets, what have you. We're used to it by now. You know the drill. And then the clouds will hold tough into your midday and into the afternoon, too. Gradually diminishing will be the showers, and the clouds will go away tomorrow night. We'll clear things out. Things are looking very nice for Thursday. Here's a bigger picture. We have this disturbed northwest flow. There will be a couple of weaker systems, maybe Friday and the Saturday. Moisture looks pretty limited at this point, but we'll, of course, watch it. Temperatures will be on the cooler side. Don't forget, we are going up to Tupelo Saturday from 10 until noon, programming weather radios at Academy Sports. As we get ready to get into spring severe weather season, it's always wise to have multiple ways of getting watches and warning information. And we have another system that's coming our way, probably Tuesday and the Wednesday of next week. We will be on the outlook for More heavy rain and maybe some strong storms as we warm up into the 60s and 70s next week. Your weekend will be dry. And just to reiterate, tomorrow, showery and breezy, just ugly.
I don't know about you, Quentin. I don't know about you, but today has spoiled me. A weekday that's been nice.
It felt so good today in that sun.
Make the rain go away, Keith.
Come on, you can do it.
I'll try.
All right, coming up, another must-win matchup for Mississippi State. The Crimson Tide rolling into Starkville. We'll have more on tonight's SEC Showdown coming up next in sports.
WCBI Sports with Tom Ebel is brought to you by your local Ford dealers. Go further.
Mississippi State and Alabama meet again on the basketball floor tonight. The Bulldogs looking for revenge after the blowout loss to the Tide in Tuscaloosa back in January. Alabama shooting nearly 50% from the field in the 90-69 win. Ben Howland saying confusion defensively was the main culprit in the loss back in January. Howland says both teams are very much different from that past meeting, but Alabama still presents a big challenge coming off a 25-point road win at Ole Miss.
Our defense was really something to be desired in that game, and so I think that we're better than we were the first time we played, and obviously they are as well. They're very talented. And you look at how they're shooting, and they've just gotten better and better, and they're coming off one of their most impressive wins of the year at Ole Miss, where they thoroughly dominated the game and won by 25 on the road, which is really hard to do in this league.
Big night for Super Tuesday of basketball. Actually, Ole Miss and Auburn in action right now. That game tipping off at 6 p.m. It's over on ESPN. Auburn up 21-11 on the Rebels with about 9.5 left in the first half. We'll have highlights of that game coming up at 10 on WCBI Sports. And Mississippi State and Alabama, the nightcap at 8 p.m. That game will be on the SEC Network. We'll have the recap and hopefully some highlights in case that game goes into some overtime madness coming up later tonight at 10. A big week for Rakia Jackson gets the nod from the SEC. The Hail State Hoops freshman being named Freshman of the Week for a career week. Jackson averaging 24.5 points per game against Auburn and Alabama while shooting 60% from the field. Jackson setting a career-high 34 points in the win over Auburn, tied for the second most ever by a Mississippi State freshman. She's the only freshman in the SEC to eclipse the 30-point mark so far this season. Sticking with Hail State Hoops, senior guard Jordan Danbury named a semifinalist for the Naismith Defensive Player of the Year honor. Danbury ranks 22nd in the nation in steals with 71 and 32nd in steals per contest at 2.5 per game. Danbury recording multiple steals in 19 of the Bulldogs' 28 games so far this season. Midweek baseball, it can be weird, it can be wacky. Southern Miss just took a 3-2 lead over number 15 Ole Miss in the 7th inning thanks to a solo home run. The Golden Eagles up 3-2 so far on the Rebels. We'll have highlights of this game coming up at 10. And I told you it gets wacky. 0-9 Texas Southern leads number 8 Mississippi State 7-3 over in Starkville right now. It's the Bulldogs' first real midweek game of the season. They had the game last week against South Alabama. That was canceled due to weather. It's midweek baseball. It can be weird. We'll have a recap of this one coming up at 10. But a fair thing to notice, last year's national champion in Vanderbilt lost 2 midweek games to Austin Peay and Illinois State. So
all is not lost.
So we shouldn't feel too bad about it.
It might seem like the sky is falling, but midweek baseball can get weird. It can get wacky, but you never know.
All right, we'll look forward to the highlights then. All right, we'll be back with the last look at the forecast. Stay with us. Well, everybody couldn't go to New Orleans, so the Big Easy comes to Columbus. It's Fat Tuesday. Annunciation Catholic School held its magical Mardi Gras parade today. The students wore magical-themed clothes and traditional Mardi Gras colors. The kindergarten and the 7th grade classes hosted the parade. They threw out beads and moon pies, gifts, and candy to their fellow students. This is the school's last big celebration before the Lenten season starts tomorrow, which is Ash Wednesday. And this would have been a good day to really have this outside.
Yeah, it would have been a great day. We had a decent day. Tomorrow, not so much. We got breezy conditions, showers return, sunny weather on Thursday. The weekend at this point looking pretty good, 50s and then some 60s. We'll warm it up next week, and that, of course, means more rain, more storms.
All right, and honestly, not the worst day for baseball either, huh, Tom?
Hey, actually, if you want to go catch some baseball, Mississippi State moved that Alcorn State game to 2 p.m. tomorrow, so some afternoon baseball if you
All
want.
right.
Capital 11.
All right. Quentin, good to have you joining us tonight.
It feels good being a part of the big family now. So.
It's the family shot.
Yes, it is.
All right, that is the news at 6. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday.